morning, Chin Gang. It is so early in the morning. I literally just woke up, took my shower, and I am getting ready to start the day. I really wanted to do a sit down and actually talk to you guys, but I'm so tired this morning, so I figured, you know what, I'll just film and then I will do a voiceover. All right, so I'm going to show you how I do my everyday basic makeup routine that you guys been asking for. So I am starting off on a clean face, and I'm taking the MAC Spike pencil and I'm going to fill in my brows. I do my brows pretty different every single time. I really wasn't too fond of it today. However, the basic still remains the same. I love to use this, or I go back and forth between this pencil and the Anastasia Brow Wiz pomade. I think I'm in the shade dark brown I like to use. So yeah, I'm just filling it in, and then I'm going to be carving it out using my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Creamy Beige. So the brush I'm using is a flat brush, and I think this one is from e.l.f. Cosmetics. But you can use a flat brush, or a lot of people do use maybe like an angle brush. Personally, I find that it's definitely a lot more skilled. It requires a little bit more skilled using a angled brush. So I just rather using a flat brush. I get a more defined, precise look that way. And then I'm going to take this Real Techniques blending or buffered brush. I had this brush for so long, and I'm basically just going to blend out that concealer because I don't want it to, you know, be looking unblended or too highlighted. So for the base of, I'm saying base. So for the face primer, I'm taking the Urban Decay All Nighter face primer. I think I got this travel size one from Ulta, and I actually really like it, you guys. I've been using it for a few months, and I actually love the way that it lays underneath my foundation. So the foundation I'm going to be using is the Milani 2-in-1 foundation, and I believe this color is called Sand Beige. And I take my damp beauty sponge, this is by Real Techniques, and I damp it with water and then wring it out so it's not too wet, and then I use it to blend out the foundation. Moving on to highlight, I'm going to be taking the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Yellow. Well, it's actually called the Yellow Corrector. I'm going to be using that one first as a base, and then I go in on the inner corners with the Can't Stop Won't Stop Concealer by NYX Cosmetics. I like to do it this way because I just feel like with the NYX that I have, that shade is a tad bit too light, and I don't want my under eye to be super bright, even though that's kind of what I prefer. But I feel like it tones it down when I do add the yellow corrector first. So I go underneath my eyes, on my forehead, and also down my nose. And I am just basically drying that concealer right now just to make it get a bit more tacky before I blend it out. I find that when it gets tacky, the tackier the better, because it just like looks way more flawless. I can't talk, but anyways, you get the drift. Alright, so I'm going to start to blend out that concealer after I feel like it's tacky enough for me, even though I kind of was in a rush, so it wasn't as tacky as I like. But we're just going to go ahead and blend it out, and I'm going to take the back of the beauty blender. This is a trick that I really love to do. I find that it blends out the concealer and blends it into your foundation seamlessly, and it just doesn't leave that harsh line. I don't like my line to go all the way across. I don't like to take the concealer all the way across. I just like to take it up until towards like my eyebrows, like where my eyebrow ends, so it could just give me a nice defined shape. So I'm just blending. Now I'm going to be taking the same concealer, which is the Creamy Beige that I use to carve out my brows with, and I'm going to be using that as my eyeshadow base. I've been using this for years. I haven't used a traditional eyeshadow base in a very long time. This is just what I've been doing. It's time for contouring, and I am using the LA Girl Pro Concealer again. Obviously, I do love this concealer. Honestly, it's really affordable and it works. So I just go over my cheekbones, carve out my cheekbones on my forehead, down the sides of my nose to give me that chiseled look, so that my face could be basically snatched, okay, without the surgery. All right, and yeah, and I just go ahead and blend it out with the back of the same damp beauty sponge. The shade I'm using in the concealer is called Espresso, by the way. So to blend out my nose contour, I'm using this brush I got in a brush set years ago, and I think I got it from Target. I don't quite remember the name, but it's basically just a blending eyeshadow brush. Anyone would work. It would do the job to blend out the nose contour because you don't want it to be super harsh. You don't want a brown line just drawing right down your nose. So that's just what I'm doing. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and set my highlighted areas, especially underneath my eyes where I apply the concealer, because it tends to crease up underneath there and we don't want that, okay? We want to look seamless, flawless as possible. So I'm going to go in with my face powder, well, the face powder that I bought specifically for that because it's obviously a little bit lighter than my skin color. So I'm taking this e.l.f. brush, it's a blush brush, and I'm going to just press that powder underneath my eyes and every other area, like where I apply the highlighter, so down my nose and also on my forehead. Now, to be honest, I do go back and forth between this powder and also my Airspun loose setting powder, but today I was just feeling for this one because I feel like it's just a little bit more lightweight than the Airspun loose powder, and I wanted a more flawless, seamless look. Okay, so this right here is an oldie but goodie. This is the Black Radiance contour palette, and I'm in the shade light to medium, and I'm taking these, I think this is a blush brush by Real Techniques, and I'm gonna go in with the second shade, the shade right in the middle, and it's called the Sculpt shade. Sometimes I like to use the contour shade, but the Sculpt works, and I just basically stick to it. And I'm going to go over everywhere that I laid down the cream contour just to set that as well and make sure that it doesn't move, and it kind of just acts as a bronzer as well and just really bronzes up my skin and brings warmth back into it. Alright, so I do this in this order. Specifically, I do my face first and then my eyeshadow. Don't ask me why, I just do it that way. So now it is time for the eyeshadow, and I typically just only use either the Sculpt shade, the Sculpt shade into my crease. So I just take a fluffy blending brush and just put the same color that I use as my bronzer and my contour, and I just put that into my crease area and just blend, blend, blend. Okay, so next up, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter, and it is called Molten Gold. So clearly nothing I'm using is an eyeshadow, but that's the great thing about makeup. You can literally just use, eyeshadow, like bronzer as an eyeshadow, or, highlighter as an eyeshadow. So it's really endless things that you could do with this. So I'm just going to take that and use my Morphe Continuous Setting Spray first and spray my entire face, and it's going to basically just make my whatever I place in my eye like damp, and it's gonna really pop that gold color. That is what I'm going for. So I'm just going to take the gold highlighter and I'm just going to place that like on the inner to the middle center of the eye. Okay, so truthfully speaking, this is not my go-to face powder to set my entire face. This is the same powder that I use to set my under eye. It's extremely lighter, but if you watch my last vlog when I went to the beauty supply and I said what was that foundation powder, I don't remember, but if you watch that video, I did say that was my favorite face powder, but I realized that it was making my face a little bit red lately, and I don't like that. So I wanted to opt for something a little bit lighter, so I just kind of went over my entire face with this Maybelline Fit Me powder. But I am going to go to Ulta in a couple days, and I'm going to re-up because, listen, I need to get my face snatched, okay? Now it's time to apply our falsies. So before I apply my false lashes, I do like to put mascara on my original lashes. And this mascara that I'm using is the Great Lash Mascara. This is an oldie but goodie, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. But it is just what I have at the moment, so we're going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to do a couple coats on my lashes because you'll see later on what I'm talking about. Like, it's all about blending the lash with your fake lash, okay? And mascara does the trick. So this specific lash is also not one of my favorites. I'm sorry, y'all. I literally just wanted to make this video. But, you know, like I said, everything is pretty much the same, but certain things are just like not really like my faves, but we're gonna just rock with it. So these lashes I got from Rainbow, like, you know, like the lashes that sometimes are at the checkout counter. I mean, they work, but I just feel like not for a daylight not for a daytime look. Maybe a more darker look it would have worked, but that's all I had at the moment, but they worked, you know. So I got these from Rainbow, and I am using the Duo Lash Glue. That's what I always use to apply my lashes, and I use the one in clear, okay? I never use black, I never use white, I always use clear glue, Duo Lash Glue, because it dries clear and you're not messing up your eyeshadow, your you know, any of your, just in case you put the lashes on wrong or lean or anything like that. It's not going to mess up anything. It just goes on clear and it dries clear. All right, and I'm just using a tweezer to apply. Now here is where the importance of blending or applying mascara comes in. I'm taking my fingers and I'm pressing my real lashes into the false lashes, okay? And it makes it easier when you do apply mascara. If you don't have mascara on, it's just not gonna look the same. I'm telling you that right now, okay? So that's why I applied mascara before I applied my falsies. All right, next I'm going to be taking the same mascara and I'm going to be coating my bottom lashes. And I'm also very careful with this because being that this is my daytime look, I don't like to, sometimes I mess up and I'm so mad. But I like to be very careful when I'm doing a daytime look, because the purpose of a daytime look is to make it look very soft, very subtle, very natural. And when you put too much mascara, it could look dark. Okay, so I'm just very careful with where I'm placing my mascara, mainly in the center and then a tiny bit on the outer half of the eye. This is one of my favorite blushes at the moment. This is a NYX blush. It's called Daydream, and I'm taking that on I think this is an Essence of something blush. I totally forgot, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm the worst at this. But I kind of switch my brushes anyways. I use the MAC stippling brush, and I also use this one sometimes depending on how I want it to lay. So yeah, I'm just taking Daydream and I'm just going to put that on my cheeks. And then to finish off, I'm just taking a little dab of the highlighter that I used on my as an eyeshadow, and I'm putting a tad bit of that on my pointy part of my nose. And then I take this Real Techniques brush and I'm putting it down my nose and also like right above my eyebrows and a little bit underneath my mouth area, close towards my chin area, because I want that to really pop. And then of course, you know, we got to go in with the highlight on the highest parts of our cheekbones. Now to line my lips, I kind of go back and forth with this color as well, but I think this one is a NYX color. I totally forgot the name of it, but usually I use like either Urban Decay or I use Cork Lip Pencil by MAC to line my lips. And then I'm going to be using Cersei lipstick by NYX Cosmetics, and then I'm going to go in with a clear gloss right on top of that, and that is pretty much going to complete my look. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Mwah, bye.